All right, I just wanted to fill you in on a little project that I've been working on. All right, so this is the MT5 Plus, and I made a piece to help gut it. So I've made one in the past, and I only had a regular multi-lock. There's more complexity to this, so I won't bore you with all that, but I came up with a different design to try to help with the gutting and the reassembly process. So let's just take this apart, okay? So say you just got done picking this, you want to prove it. First, we'll go through how you could, and again, this really doesn't need to be in there when you're picking it, but you can prove how, that you had all the components in it, right? All right, so what we'll do is we'll take this apart, drop the shackle out with another twist, shackles out, put this key off the side for now. Okay, so now when we open it, there's a couple ways you can do this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop out this piece because that spring can go flying. So let's just get that out of there. And there's another spring. Okay, so those are kind of the unnecessary things that would be in there that we could just put off to the side, keeping this in frame. Not that I picked it because I'm not at a black belt level yet, but just to give you an idea to help you gut it. So now this comes in two pieces. You don't need to make this one built into it. It could shear off. You could just use, print it where it's just that piece. But this will help later. It'll make things a little bit easier for you. So let's just take this. We don't need that right now. We'll put it off to the side, okay? So what we're gonna do is we can easily just kind of cup our hand and just let that drop out a little bit, okay? So now that's a little bit out, okay? You could also take this part off, but you don't have to prove anything there. So it's just one less component you have to take apart, but you could, absolutely could. So put this in here. So once you slide that in here, put your thumb down here because you don't want it to fully slide down. So now, like I said, you can kind of bang it down just to get it a little bit further so you have more control. So once you get that out, I'm going to hold my thumb there and just take that out. Now that's done. It's out of the way. The core's right here. Okay, so this wants to come apart. I could have added a piece in here to hold these where it keeps it closed, but I want you to be able to open it. So if you want, you can print yourself a little piece that fits in here so you can kind of make sure it doesn't fall apart when you're not ready for it, okay? That's up to you. But right now, like I said, what I'll do is I will be careful because these can split apart. And the reason for that is to allow this axis to come into this direction, the lip has to be a little bit bigger. So that means that the part that's at the very tail, so I'm gonna kind of hold them and move them along very carefully. The part that, so now you see that's seated in there, kind of can see it. The part that can come off is, this is catching on, that can come off. But what's really cool about this is right now, you can clearly see the pins in there. And you can clearly see that, but we can get more, we can actually show it. So while I'm holding this very firmly to make sure I have good control of it, I can put my key in there, okay? And I can actually turn it. And I can show you, look, I have all my pins in there. See, there's all my pins. So real quick proof there's pins in there. You also could turn it and show that you have all the sliders in there, okay? You can also turn it fully and make sure you have the bar in there. But I will tell you, once the bar pops up, once you got the bar popping up, you can't go this direction. That's just too tight of a tolerance. What you do is just keep rotating it and get it on this side. So I'm going to bring my hand like this. I'm just going to push that down. And once you clear that, it's back right into what you're doing. So now let's say we want to clear it. Now that you kind of showed all the components, it's kind of almost proof that you had it. And yeah, there is some countermill in there that you're going to have to show. It is a black belt. But if you're already a black belt, I'm not sure how in depth you have to go, but let's just continue on. That kind of shows all the components. But what I can do is I can actually take this apart. So I'm gonna bring this back and I can actually slide this back like so, make push force so you get to keep it. And I can slide this back and get it to where, hey, look, it's only showing the one slider. Now I can hold my thumb there and I can basically come down here and just drop out that one. So there is the first slider. Let's just put it there. And then I can bring this out and there's your second slider. And the same thing with loading back up, although loading it, why not just put it? So what we're gonna do is real quick, I don't waste your time talking through it, but I literally can put this like so. Okay, and you can very easily, as you get towards the end, remember to hold it up. Don't get silly and let it fall apart on you. Okay, get that hair out of there, my children. Okay, so bring this in, I'm holding this up, and there's the last one, right? So there's the fifth one. So now I just basically took all those out. I can push it back in, and I can pretty much rotate it so I can get the bar. Now, unfortunately, of course, now because the key is out, I need the key to get the pins out. So let's drop those pins out. So put this in here. Okay, there's the pins. And now if I want to, now that I got the pins out of there, I can bring it out, although you're risking them falling out like they just did. I could have done a better sequencing. That's on me. But let's just put this back where it belongs. And then do what I just said we can do. So I can bring it right back into its home. And now each one won't fall out. And I can just take my time and basically bring it to an area that's a common area, like here, and drop that. And now that's your first pin. Okay, so let's put that there. I'll put it like this. And again, bring the next one out. Okay. Bring the next part out. Because again, we've already shown that these are already here. So again, they know everything is there. They can see it. You didn't chip it. Now I'm going to hold my thumb under there because again, don't forget, you're going to start get to where the springs want to push it out. Now you could have unloaded that. This is the sequence I go, and you could technically unload the springs first. I'm going to push this back so that we don't have to manhandle it to hold it. And we'll put these back into position. Okay, so now, get this up. So now you're looking at all that's left is the springs, right? So what are we doing with the springs? So this is where this component can come in, okay? So I can take this and just kind of move this a little bit out of the way. Okay, I can take this and put it here. And what I can do now is basically bring this back to where it belongs, right? And I still have that bar up there. I should have taken that bar out earlier, but I'm not going to. So what I'm going to do is, now the springs, there's less tension on here, right? What I can do is I can actually find the hole and slowly bring this out. And when that does, is that holds the pins in a better fashion. And we could tap it. And now there's all the pins. This thing is actually holding them up. So now it's easy to individually grab each one. So there's the next one. Okay, and look, now you know it's in the right direction. So now you're proving that these are all in the right direction. So you can go in here. Again, pop this out. And you could prove there it is in the right direction. Again, get into the next one. It is still in the correct direction. So pretty much you're just going to bring every single one of these out. Prove it's in the right direction. It's in the right direction. And then finally you let the last one and it's in the right direction. And again, there is technically, I can rotate this up. There is milling in here. You can kind of see it, but it grabs onto it. So you can hear it. And that's kind of where you can prove the last thing has milling, right? So now the bar, I totally forgot about the bar. That's on me. So again, you can rotate this out and the bar can come out very easily as well. So I'm going to rotate this just to kind of get the bar visible. There's the bar. And again, you already proved it was there, but let's pretend it took it out. And the first thing I decided to do was put the bar back in. So I can put the bar back in, rotate that back into play. And now the bar is synced. Now what I will tell you is, so if I was putting this back together, because now we're at the point of putting it back together, right? So if we're putting it back together, I can grab the sliders and start putting it back in. So I'm just going to grab it by hand. I find actually putting the sliders in is a lot easier to do by hand. Let's bring this a little bit closer. Okay. Sorry this is taking longer. I think you already get the idea of how this works. But I just want to go through it in its entirety just so you have an idea of what this thing does and why I did it the way I did it. I wanted to make a better mechanism to be able to get the springs. That is like the difficulty. What I realized was the other way I had it of doing it does work, right? The other thing I created does work, but there's a lot of complexity in trying to hold the sidebar, and you have to worry about the position of your sliders, and there's just a lot to it, right? So what I found too is, so when I put this together, I'm going to roll this back. It's actually easy to put this back together. Do not put it onto these. So what we'll do is we'll actually load these up first, right? So what we'll do is we'll put these in. Again, I got it all sequenced, so it's nice and easy. I'm trying to go as fast as I can because I know that you guys are busy people, and if you're watching this, you might be skipping around for it because again, this is, I would if I was you, because you don't need me to see me put in each one of these pins. You kind of just want to see me put it back together. So let's do this. Okay. So again, I think so far you can see it's a relatively controlled method. You don't have to worry about your stuff flying all over the place. There's nothing you have to grab in some crazy fashion or crazy hard angle to grab. And again, I didn't take out the, try to get the sequence better. I didn't take out the springs. I mean, there's nothing you need to prove there, but you can if you want to. There's absolutely no reason that, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. And if you do it, I'll take out one of them just to show you. You do have to put them in at a little angle. Of course, this is giving me a hard time. There we go. Okay. Stupid alpha pin. Patent pending for Mul-T-Lock, of course. All right, let's get you back in. So again, it fell in there. I could just bring this out like that, and it fell in between my, it's on my fingers. Where are you? Okay, come on. Get back in. There we go. All right, so now that's in. Okay, so what I do here is if I was loading the springs, you can load the springs the same way as you load any spring. I'd grab it from relatively the top, put it in an angle and slide it in. Okay, so this little piece is because if you don't have it, this stuff will just fall to the bottom. Okay, so this is the way you put it back in. It's not, it takes a little bit of practice, but not that hard. So basically you bring it at an angle, put it straight down, push it into a little groove that's supposed to hold it. If for some reason you have very large tweezers, it is not going to work. So make sure you have decent tweezers that are thin because there's not a lot of space. So again, you kind of push this spring down and then you just push it back into place. And if one does fall, it usually falls in here. You can just turn your hand sideways like that and it'll slide right out. So now, once you get them all seated, what you do is you're going to just lift it up as far as you can. And then once you lift up as far as you can, you let that backing come off. You come straight up with it, and now it's back together. And now all you have to do is get it into its locking position. Once you slide it backwards, be careful to do it together, you're home free. Once it gets to there, you're home free. So now that is completely slid back together. Now, if you use, instead of this, you use this piece, you can do it. Basically, you'd come in here, same thing, be careful, don't let this part split. Kind of get it fully out, get it kind of seated into position. And you can basically put this manually behind, put it in there. And then basically, as you come down, slowly bring this up. And now it's the same thing, okay? And then when you want to take it off, when you slide it up and you have to take it off, you just got to take a pair of tweezers and go to the side, gently each side, just kind of work it out. And when it gets out of the way, you push it back together. So you can do that way too, if you want to make just a small little guy like this. And then once you get it in here, again, very simple. Everything's secure, everything's stored. You just got to bring it far enough out to seat it. Once it's seated, you can just push it in like that. And you could just kind of force it down by hitting it, or you can, if you have something easy, you could just kind of fully seat it, and you're back in. That's it. And putting them back together is relatively simple. Drop this back in here, put this guy back in, put the spring in, all the dangerous stuff is done. So that's a very long-winded. I just wanted to show you completely put it back together. In fact, while I'm finishing it up, so why not just put it fully back together. So put it back in. Okay, if I'm going to hold this down, if you ever do take this out, if you ever do take this out, the easiest way to put it back in is put it back together. See how these springs? Put it back together. Let's put this down. Put it back together like this, my suggestion. So that way you don't have to try to stretch it. And once you get in here, you just squeeze this together and just kind of feed it like that in. And that's the easiest way to bring it in. And I obviously messed it up because I'm recording, but see how these fall out? And that's just me being silly. They're all greased up and sticking to things, and that's on me. But anyway, put it back in here. I actually find it easier when this is a little bit out of the way, so I'll push this a little bit deeper out. And then what happens is you can squeeze this together, put it in sideways like so. Nothing's in your way. Fold it over. Now it's back in. Push it back in. You're good to go. Let's put this back in. Put this back in. Just doing the due diligence of finishing it up. My technique after I put this in is actually to slide the this backing right here, I like to slide it in this direction so I can make sure I'm over the spring first, because that's the thing that's most likely to just kind of fall all over the place. And then once you get it in there, put this in here, obviously. Probably should put the key in first to be ready for it. So here's the key, turn it, put this in. Once you get this in, you're safe. I just lock it and it's safe. It's a little loose, and of course you put it in here and this will tighten it up. So that is how that piece works. In the description I will have the files. I'll have it on Maker World. If you have a bamboo, just easy to just straight print it. And that's it. Apart, together, and really good control using this device. Again, if you don't have this, getting those springs back in will be difficult. You don't need this entire platform. Just makes it easier to kind of just pull straight up. But as you saw, I can just use this and work it out with tweezers. So that's what I got for you. I hope this helps someone, just makes things a little bit less difficult. I always know that I say I try to make tools to help out, because we should be focused on picking and not worried about how to gut things.